Hey there. In this clip, we're going to go ahead and begin applying parentheses to create some complex formulas. Before doing that, this is way overdue. Let's go ahead and name this spreadsheet. So we're going to go ahead and title it formulas. And now we're going to go ahead and add another sheet here. So this is, so the only thing that is making causes the distinction of complex formula is that we're going to be using parentheses here, okay? But we're still using these principles here, the rules of PEMDAS, and we're going to make use of parentheses in this case. So on your new sheet, let's just go ahead and go to B2, and you're going to type in Monday, Tuesday for C2. We're going to put a 7 here. We're going to put a 3 here. We're going to put the word comment here. Now we're going to select all of these cells and center them. Okay, so now let me just give you a little bit of a storyline so you can make sense of what we're doing here. We want to use parentheses, and I just want to have you kind of have a storyline to go with it to help kind of solidify the ideas a little bit more. Okay, so this is your job, and this is your tip amounts. So on Monday, you've got $7 in tip. Not great. Tuesday, even worse, only $3. And someone makes a comment, hey, you got to start doubling that. So if we want to represent that mathematically, right? How do we show that in an expression? So what does double that mean? That means whatever I earned over here, I want to make 2 times that or double that, right? So 7 plus 3 is 10. If I double that, I should end up with 20. So there's a couple of different ways that you can create that expression. So let's actually call this expressions. The first way, and I'm going to write this just using regular math symbols that perhaps you're familiar with. So is 7 plus 3, and then to that I want to add another 7 plus 3. This is still not a complex formula, okay? The other possibility, right, because this is double that, it's 7 plus 3 and another 7 plus 3. One other way, and there's again more ways to do this. The other way might be to actually incorporate some multiplication, right, to double that. So I want to do 7 plus 3, and then I'm going to use a regular multiplication like the x for multiplication times 2. The problem with this, right, hopefully you picked up, is here we're not going to get the result that we think we're going to get because we're not following PEMDAS. We're not even following PEMDAS here without sheets being involved. So just regular on paper, this does not work because 3, so PEMDAS requires us, right, parentheses, exponent, multiplication. We've got multiplication, so 3 times 2 is 6. 6 plus 7 is 13. That is not 20. All right, that is not 20, so this does not work. What we need to do is we need to say double that. So we want to do double. That helps us double 2 times something. So we want, what do we want 2 times? We want 7 plus 3, and 7 plus 3 to be 2 times. So we want to do that. This is where our parentheses come in handy, right? So we want double of the answer to this. So whatever 7 plus 3 is, we want double that. That is what the parentheses allows us to do. It allows us to put the answer to this kind of in a little box. So it's living inside of the little parentheses. See, it's giving it a nice little hug. Oh, I love you. It's hugging the 7 plus 3. And the answer, of course, once it calculates it, is 10. So pretend there's a 10 here. 10 times 2 will give us the 20. This is an example of a complex formula because there are multiple parts that are happening in order to get to the final calculation, right? So here it just follows PEMDAS, and I mean here it's following PEMDAS as well, but the fact that there are parentheses involved causes there to be basically like an expression inside of an expression. So this, you can say, is a mini expression inside of this larger expression, right? Like this can live on its own and have its own answer, which is 10, but then the answer there is used in this other expression. So a complex formula is basically an expression that has at least one other expression inside of it. Let's go ahead and write these out as formulas. So this is the top one here is just a simple formula. So we start out with equal sign, 7 plus 3 plus 7 plus 3. There's our 20. And down here, we're going to do the same thing, but we're going to use parentheses. So 7 plus 3. Whatever the answer is to that expression, we're going to multiply. Make sure you use the asterisk here, times 2. And we got our 20. Okay? That is an example of a complex formula. Now, just going over this is not going to mean you're going to be able to create any expressions. You will have to actually use and practice your math skills here. Many of the examples that you will get maybe a version of this, and I will ask you. So, like, I'll give you the actual expression that I want, and you will have to convert it into the Google Sheets version. Some you will have to work on a little bit more to create the expression yourself. In other words, I might give you a scenario like this, where in words you hear kind of like a word problem. On Monday, you earned $7 in tip. On Tuesday, $3 in tip. How do you write an expression that is a complex formula that requires you to double that, or to double that amount? This would be an example of a solution because it has parentheses. And in that request, I asked for a complex formula, which means if you hear complex formula, make sure you make use of parentheses to compute that value. Okay. Last piece, you can use multiple sets of parentheses, right, to make a calculation. And we'll end on that fancy example. So for example, let's say you have 7 plus 3. So we're gonna actually let me put this over here. We'll do it right here. Another possibility could have been 7 plus 3 plus 7 plus 3. Right? This is almost like that one, except it breaks it down into two separate expressions. It actually along the way is different. The final solution is the same, but along the way it's different because PEMDAS, since they're all pluses, we'll go ahead from left to right in this case. 7 plus 3 is 10. So far it's 10. 10 plus 7 is 17. 17 plus 3 is 20. And over here instead, it says 7 plus 3 is 10. All right, got that. Put it to the side. Now over here I have another parenthesis. 7 plus 3 is 10. Okay, got that to the side. Now 10 plus 10 is 20. So notice this one said 10 plus 10 is 20. And over here we were at 17 plus 3 is 20. So the steps along the way are different. So let's go ahead and write that as a complex formula. 7 plus 3 plus 7 plus 3. And there we go. We've got the same solution, different expressions, the same sort of problem, and different formulas. Let me change that view. Remember, press Control on that little accent mark, Enya mark to the left of the number 1 on your keyboard. Those are the different formulas. These are complex formulas. This up here is a simple formula. So, complex formula. That's where did my pin bucket go? There it goes. Let's make it a little red. They're complex and then simple. Okay. These are of course more powerful, but hopefully that helps explain a little bit more the use of parentheses and what defines a complex formula.